Over the next 5 years, this whole idea of agents, I would pivot the term to assistant. Every one of the stakeholders in our space will have an assistant, somebody whispering in your ear, not human, obviously, but helping with the job and the role that you happen to have. And you can easily see that with recruiters because obviously there's a lot of tools that recruiters use, and now that would be part of how that agent thinks. And it won't be just one tool. That agent will know for the recruiter all of the technology tools that they're using and which are integrated and which aren't and which need to be dealt with in various ways. But they'll also know what the outcomes are that the recruiters need to deal with. So that'll be interesting. There'll be an assistant for a hiring manager, and that will be fascinating as well because it'll help the hiring manager actually do what they don't do very well right now, which is interview, select, et cetera, without bias. And so an assistant could be helpful in terms of mitigating some of that. But the assistant that I think will be the coolest, that no one knows the impact of, will be the assistant that the candidate will have. And no one right now is providing that. No one. But you see pieces of it because you get angry employers who think that the candidate's cheating because they're getting help in their interview in real time, or they're getting help in rethinking their resume in relation to the the specific job that they're applying for. And I think we're concluding the wrong thing. The candidate really just wants to get a job that's meaningful and helpful, et cetera. And the tools right now are pretty raw, but they're working with what they can. And they're learning, and actually they're learning faster than some employers, which is what pisses off the employer. So I think what we're going to see is a shift from whatever this term is, agentic AI kind of thing, to this idea of assistants that literally operate in real time to help you to perceive what's going on, to help you set priorities, to guide you to the tools and or the decisions that you know you need to make, but they're there and they're letting you focus more effectively. Well, the short answer to that is we really had to work the tools, and now the tools are working us. And that's really the difference. Agentic AI has enough of an algorithm that it can infer and sense what it is we're going to be needing to do, and fundamentally is kind of leaping ahead of us or helping us to leap ahead of our thinking around that. So it eliminates a lot of the transactional things or things that we would be sitting there going like, what do I do next? Well, agentic AI is telling you what you need to do next. Well, one was what I just talked about in terms of an assistant for the candidate. But what we really need is full transparency. The candidate really, when we think about their experience being positive or negative, it has to do with some basic kinds of things. Are you telling me whether I can go forward or not? Are you telling me that, thank you very much, but we're not going forward with you, and here's some of the things that we think would be helpful to you in terms of your continued look for a job. Feedback, those kinds of things are going to be important. But all of them impact a concept of fairness. When you really look at what a candidate wants, they want to know that they got a shot at it. They want to know that they got up to bat. The only way they're going to get up to bat is if the assistants that are working for the employer are taking the top of the funnel and engaging all candidates in the collection of data, as well as the probing, if you will, the screening, the initial screening. And for that to happen, it means that AI is going to have to move to voice, not just text, a combination of the two. It's going to have its own voice. It's going to have to be able to say to the candidate, oh, I see that you're looking at this job. If you express interest in this job, I'll interview you in the next 72 hours at your convenience. So you need to do some due diligence because you're going to be competing with, well, right now, 132 different people. And I'm going to interview all of them. And I'm probably going to stop leaving this job open on our website when we hit 150, because we know at 150 that we have 100% probability of being able to find and hire a qualified candidate. But to find out if you're a qualified candidate, I want you to be able to get up to bat just like everyone else. So I will interview you even though I'm not human. And then I'm going to take the data that I get and I'm going to talk with my human peers and colleagues, and we'll decide who goes forward with. We go forward with, and then I'll come back to you, and if you want, but only if you want, I'll sit with you and spend a little time telling you why you did not go forward if you don't, and suggest ways that you might compete more effectively in the future for this job, or maybe other jobs. Maybe not even jobs that we have, but maybe suggest other things. But that's up to you. You're going to have some choices around that. So how do you feel about that? If you feel comfortable enough, do a little bit more due diligence, and then all you have to do is say, I'd be interested in this job. Now, how's that going to make you feel as a candidate that doesn't go forward? Because 99% of them aren't. It's a lot better than being ignored. It's a lot better than, sitting around waiting for somebody to get back, and they never do, in general. So we have to shift how we think about what we want as an outcome on all of the candidates whose lives we touch. And if I can feel confident that 100% of all the candidates, even if I disappoint them, believe that they've been fairly treated, that they got up to bat, just like everyone else. They were asked the same questions as everyone else, and the eyes didn't roll simply because of how you looked or, how you responded from a voice tone, et cetera, but focused in on whether or not you were capable to do the job. So candidate experience can be enormously impacted to the good in the future if we think differently about how AI could be applied. The advice I give them is to get over it. There is no choice. I don't even know how to help them other than to be very clear to them that this is the future. It would be like telephones in 1910 or something, and someone going, "Oh no, what? I don't need a telephone. I've got the U.S. mail. I write letters to people and I put them in envelopes and I lick stamps and I put them in the post, and in days I have an answer." So why? I don't understand this telephone thing. Why would I be using a telephone? And you could sit there and you could explain that over and over and over again. But the basic thing is get over yourself and start dealing with the tools that fundamentally are shifting the way we communicate, shifting the way we understand the world around us, increasing our ability to have access to data, and organizing that data in ways that help me make better decisions faster. And without that, you don't have a job anywhere.